Hello friends, how are you doing? So this is Shusmita Shyama again from Baneebee and I welcome you to speaking lesson 15. So let's see what we are going to do today. We are going to learn a specific pronoun and names of some professions, and then we will make sentences with those pronouns and the names of professions. And at the end, as always, I will leave you with a homework. Okay, so let's start. Here you can see 4 words: banker, engineer, photographer, and nurse. Some of you already have completed the reading and writing lessons. So if you have completed those, then you know that I have written the same thing again and again, right? So this is banker, the English word. Then with the Bengali letter, I have written the same thing, banker. Then here is the phonetic presentation of the same word. Again, with engineer, I have done the same thing. I have written the same thing thrice for all the 4 words. Why have I done that? I have not written any Bangla word with the Bengali letters. I have just repeated the English word with Bengali letters. Why? Because we definitely have Bangla words for these words, but I just want to make things simple and I want to save you all from the trouble of learning new Bengali words. Most of the people understand these 4 English words, right? So this is the good news. And here you can see this person. That person is pointing at himself. That means it represents I. So the Bangla for I is Ami. From the previous lessons, some pronouns you have already learned. So I is one of them. And let's make sentences with that. Here, Ami banker. What is the meaning of that? I am a banker, right? Again, I'll join this Ami with this next one. Ami photographer. That means I am a photographer. Then Ami engineer. That means I am an engineer. Ami nurse. That means I am a nurse, right? So this is the Bangla for these English sentences. Now you might ask me, hey, what about this am and a? You are not using this when you are making the Bangla sentences. You are just saying I banker, Ami banker, I photographer, Ami photographer, right? It sounds like that, huh? So it might occur to you that Bangla is probably a shortcut language, shortcut method, but let me explain that to you. So here's the English sentence. I am an engineer. If you want, you can. So see what we have done. For I have used this Ami. Then for engineer, I have used this engineer. Then Ami engineer, I engineer. Now what happened to those? So this is an auxiliary verb, this am, and I'm not using it here. Why? Because in Bengali, most of the time, we do not use the auxiliary verbs, and especially the be verbs. We do not use it unless you are talking about your existence or of becoming something, or you are explaining some philosophical things about the essential being, becoming someone or something. So these types of philosophical discussions, your existential problems, if you are talking about those things, then you will need this be verb. Other than that, we don't use this be verb. Okay, if you use this be verb, obviously we have the Bangla for that be verb, but if you use that, your sentences will sound really weird and awkward. Okay, so don't do that. Just say I'm an engineer. That is enough. Now what about this section? It is not crossed, but it is a little faded, right? It looks like it is fading. Well, because it is optional. Let's go to the next slide. It will be clearer to you. So here, without these two things, this is how you can say I am an engineer. You can just say I'm an engineer. Now here, we are taking example from another profession because we are talking about 4 words today, and if I just keep making sentences with engineers, then other people, they might get angry. So let's talk about nurse now. Same thing here. The am is crossed because we will never use that, and for these types of sentences we will never use that be verb because we are not talking about any philosophical thing, or we are not talking about becoming or being. Okay, now these optional things, you can use this article, so then it will sound like আমি একজন nurse, and for engineer if you said that, then it could sound like আমি একজন engineer. That means I am an engineer, but in Bangla you are just not saying this am, so আমি একজন engineer or আমি একজন nurse, you can say that. Most of the time we will just say আমি engineer, আমি nurse. Okay, we are going to wrap it up, but before we do that, we will just have a brief summary of today's lesson. So what are the words that we have learned today? The first one is ami, which means I. Banker means banker. Photographer is photographer. Engineer is also engineer. Nurse is also nurse. Now let's look at the sentences that we have made today. I am a banker can be said like I'm a banker. I am an engineer. I'm an engineer. I am a photographer. I'm a photographer. I am a nurse. I'm a nurse. So this one, the title says that this one is without article. That means without this a or an, we have said this. Now if we want to include the article, how will it sound? It will be আমি একজন banker, আমি একজন engineer, আমি একজন photographer, আমি একজন nurse. And this একজন means a, and this a is optional, right? Okay, so that is it. Now is the time for homework. Okay, so here, if you are a dentist and you want to introduce yourself, then you will say I am a dentist. You can also say I am dentist. So I want you to translate these 2 sentences, okay? Once with this a and once without a, right? So yeah, that's it. That's today's class, and thanks for watching the class. I'm looking forward to seeing your answers. Please let me know your answers in the comment section. Stay well, stay safe. Bye.